Hello folks, I've been using Plantronics M50, which is a pretty cheap, small Bluetooth device, multi-point, meaning that it can connect two phones at the same time, for the past 6 months. And although I've been pretty happy on my end, audio quality from the earpiece sounds great, a very comfortable device, very long battery life. The other party of the call has been always complaining about it. So I decided to finally ditch this and get something better. Now, as I already mentioned, I have two phones. I use two phones daily, so I need a device that can communicate with two phones at the same time, and to do it as nice as possible. I've got an Android Huawei P1 and a BlackBerry Q10. So I've researched the market for like a couple weeks, and I didn't want to go with Plantronics again because I heard I was reading reviews a lot, and I've heard people with more expensive devices having the same problem, such as Marquee M165 and other similar ones. I couldn't go all the way to Voyager because it's too heavy for me. Basically, I have two requirements. I had two requirements. No heavier than 10 grams, and to be able to use it with two phones. And probably I've read also complaints from the Voyager as well, so probably there's something wrong with the algorithms of Plantronics, how they handle background noise and so on and so on. So also I decided to try a well-known company in the wireless communications, Motorola. Comparing to guys like Jawbone and Blue Ant that are basically newcomers on the market, although already for a few years, I still think that a giant company like Motorola should do better. And luckily, they just came up with I think 2 or 3 of these devices are brand new. Pretty sure the 2 that I have here are brand new because they're very hard to find. You can't find them on Amazon. You can't find them on let's say Target or Tiger Direct or Newegg. The Whisper seems to be only available at least as of August 2013 at the AT&T stores for $149 plus tax. It's not even available on the own Motorola site. The Boom you can purchase from the Motorola site and have it delivered, or buy from Best Buy for $59.99. And in addition, I also bought another device from Best Buy, Jabra Extreme 2. It's supposed to do extreme noise cancellation. One of the complaints, actually, the most common complaints that the other caller had while I was using the Plantronics is whenever there is some kind of a background noise that's similar to beeping, such as security alarms at the exits of the retail stores, or if someone paged somebody on the PA system in a retail store, they would hear that voice or beep very, very loud, even though this voice would be far, far away from me. So I'm not even sure if this thing has a background cancellation or not. You guys can look it up if you want yourself, Plantronics M50. But that was one of the main reasons I had to switch, and I talk to a lot of clients daily, so I can't afford to do that anymore. Speaking of which, if you're sitting in a quiet office, this will be probably one of the best headsets. It's very, very comfortable, and the noise, the sound is very nice on your end. Okay, so back to the new device now. On the left here we have the Whisper, which is the premium device that the Motorola offers right now. First I'll tell you what both have, and then I'll talk about the differences. They're both Bluetooth class 1, and they're good for up to 300 feet, even though this one, I think it says on the back, it's also class 1, good for up to 300 feet. Of course, you gotta use it with a device that's also Bluetooth class 1, and I have a BlackBerry Q10 here, which is certified Bluetooth class 1, so we'll test that a little later. Both have background removal, echo cancellation When I said background remover, I mean background noise cancellation, echo cancellation. I'm not sure if they specifically say they have wind resistant or wind cancellation, but I'm sure you can look up the specifications and you can find everything about that. Very similar battery life, about 6 hours of talk time. The Plantronics, I think, has better talk time. I think it was 8, but let's forget about the Plantronics now. The difference here is the Whisper has 4 microphones versus 2 for the boom. And the Whisper has the boom actually expands, so you can bring it closer to your mouth, or if you want it to look more elegant, you can just close it in, and you can use it both ways. It has 2 mics on the boom and 2 mics somewhere here in the back. I believe, let me zoom in a little bit. Here's a mic right there. Here's another mic there. And I'm not sure if we'll be able to see both on the boom, but they're somewhere, I guess they're in here. And I think that's the only advantage. Oh, the other advantage of the Whisper is you can use simultaneously or separate, oh, come on, focus. Okay, hooks and earplugs. So this is how basically, this is what the hooks look like. And they hook in here in the back, I mean in the middle of the device, and you can also change the gel pads. However, they only come with this kind of style, either without the loop or with the loop. I found this loop kind of uncomfortable, not sure why. It's probably too big for my ears. But the Whisper doesn't come with this kind of, come on, focus. Sorry about that. Whisper doesn't come with this kind of in-ear gel pad that goes inside your ear canal, basically. And I found this to work better for me. So overall, you can use hooks for the boom, but you either have to, basically you have to use this hook, which has a built-in gel pad, and it's kind of hard. This one is pretty hard comparing to the rest. Or you can use a, let me see where that one is. Here you go. You can use a, just a second. Or you can use this, you can use this clear hook and have this small gel piece going around it, basically, so you don't have any metal parts or plastic parts touching your ear, the inner of the ear. As I said, I like the boom better. I use it without a hook. I use it just with this inner loop, and I like it better. The Whisper is not bad, but I prefer the boom so far. I've been using the boom for a couple of days, Whisper half a day, and the Jabra half an hour, and you'll find out a little bit later why. So now, here's the problem. The least expensive device, this one is $59 MSRP. The Jabra is $79, I think. This one is $150. The least expensive device has more features and they're designed better. Although both of the Motorola's can work with 2 phones, when you connect 2 phones, there's no way you can select, you know, they both have voice commands. So when you initiate the voice command by touching the call button, there's no way for the Whisper to choose which phone you want to command. While with the boom, it will prompt you for phone 1, press the call button once. For phone 2, press either of the volume buttons. Very nice. In addition, the Whisper doesn't even have a redial function right away. And while you can probably use your voice command, saying something like redial with your Android phone, redial command doesn't work with my BlackBerry, and in addition, there's no guarantee that that's going to work every time. So the boom has a redial. So if you just press and hold the call button, it will redial and it will prompt you which phone you want to redial. If you press one more time, I think it's going to pick phone 1. I don't think they're connected now, so it might not work. So this is a big plus for me, or I should say big minus for the Whisper. I need a redial option, no doubt. I just close the boom, that turns off the phone. And both devices have some settings menu. You can turn on or off things such as voice prompts, caller ID. Unfortunately, the caller ID only reads for you the number, but it doesn't read the name, which I find kind of stupid. So I turn off the caller ID. You can turn on or off wideband audio or HD voice, as they call also. And I find this nice. I like how they have settings. And that's done via voice prompt. So once you go to the settings menu, it will ask you questions. You answer yes or no, and it will adjust the settings for you. It works pretty well. Now, speaking about the voice quality, not only I find the boom more comfortable, but the voice from the earpiece, from the Whisper, sometimes is distorted, and it's not as wild. It's not as wild as the boom. So definitely, the boom has a little bit better earpiece. Regarding the voice from the microphones, it seems like the Whisper can do slightly better. I've done a bunch of tests. I've done a test in a bathroom to simulate echo. They're very close, but it seems like the Whisper does slightly better job. Although when the boom is open, depending on how small your face or your head is, if you have a small face or head, you might the other side might hear like wind whispering in the microphones, basically from your mouth. So it can do slightly better probably in extremer conditions, but for regular daily use with some level of background noise or echo, I think the boom is definitely, considering the price difference, definitely a better choice. I mean, a good choice. But again, the sound of the earpiece is much better from the boom, probably because of that ear channel. I'm pretty sure it sounds louder and richer. It's more comfortable, and it has more features. As I said, the Whisper doesn't even have a redial feature, and I'm surprised because they're very similar generation of devices. I won't be surprised if they have the same internals inside, same manuals, but in the manual where the boom says for redial, press and hold the call button. For the Whisper, in the manual it says use your phone to redial, which I found very stupid. You can also, from the menu, you can activate voice answering, so you can say answer or ignore, and you can turn that feature on from the settings. At least on the boom, I'm sure the Whisper will have it too. It's off by default. Also, HD audio is off by default. Now let's talk about the Jabra a little bit. So because I'm going to return the Whisper, and I have another 10 days for the boom to decide if I want to keep it or not. I got another device that's also about or less than 10 grams, pretty slim design. So I decided to test that one as well and see how it works. It's awful, I would say. Probably it has the best background cancellation, background noise cancellation. As you can see, extreme noise cancellation, but it's extremely uncomfortable. The gel pads are very, I guess they're big, and they fill up the entire ear canal, at least for mine. So when you walk with it, you feel weird because one of your ears is muffled. It's kind of like you have a plug in one of your ears. It sounds really, I mean, it feels really bad. It's very uncomfortable. Only after half an hour of use, I got pain in my ear, and I felt weird because of that problem with the form fit in the ear canal. In addition, the voice quality from the earpiece, I found it really bad, really poor, much worse than the Plantronics. Actually, Plantronics, I would scale them: the boom, Plantronics, and then the Whisper in terms of quality on your end. This thing it's awful. It's a disaster. At least for me, it's uncomfortable and sounds very poor. Also, there is no way you can, similar to the Whisper, when you do voice commands, At least with the Whisper, you could disconnect your phones and switch them, phone 1 and phone 2. You can make which phone you want to use for voice commands. For the Jabra, for some reason, it always picks the Android phone, no matter how I connect the devices. It always picks the Android phone as default for voice commands and redialing. It has a redial. And also, when you connect the phones, these two will tell you phone 1 connected, phone 2 connected, phone 1 disconnected. This one doesn't say that. It just says Jabra connected, and when you connect the second phone, it says 2 devices connected. But if one of them disconnects, it doesn't tell you which one disconnects. So I don't like that. But it has one benefit. Although both of them claim to work with A2DP audio, and they do work. I mean, all 3 of them, actually all 4 of them, together with the Plantronics. They can stream audio or navigation, whatever, to you, but only one of the connected phones can do it without disconnecting them. What I mean by this is, if you're using your phone 1 for navigation, and then 5 minutes later you want to use phone 2 for navigation, you're not going to get if phone 1 was working, if phone 1 was streaming the media audio, phone 2 will not stream the media audio to it. You have to disconnect them, choose which one you want to do for media audio. But the Jabra, it can do it basically without doing any settings, any adjustments. All you have to do is just, as long as, let's say you have phone 1 playing a music, if you start music from phone 2, phone 2 will overtake. If you stop phone 2, phone 1 will be back, and so on and so on. So that's really nice. However, this is basically unusable. So back to these guys, some words regarding the range. As I mentioned earlier, these are Class 1 devices, up to 300 foot range, or 100 meters roughly. And my BlackBerry Q10 is also Class 1. It should work nice with them, but it doesn't. Just a side note here though, I'm using a leaked OS or beta OS on the BlackBerry, so it's not official firmware, and I have a feeling that this is why I don't get the extended range. I did a test with all 3 devices except the Jabra, forget about it. The Volt, Plantronics, the Boom, and the Whisper. With each of them connected to each phone, I made sure that the Bluetooth of the other phone is disconnected, so there's no interference, and I was able to get the exact same results outdoor. They have the same range. So again, most likely, since I'm using a leaked version of the operating system of my BlackBerry, 10.2 by the way, 10.21047 if someone wonders. It seems like the extended range of the Bluetooth isn't working properly. I hope that's the case, and later on, when official version of this software comes out, I will definitely add to the comments if it works with the official version or not. I don't want to reinstall my phone now just to try that. Let's see what else. A few more notes. So the Whisper is definitely going back. I'm returning it. It's not only it's not worth the $150, but I think it's worse than the Boom. Again, you might get a little bit of gain when you're outside in the wind. This is the only thing I couldn't test. I couldn't test performance in windy conditions. Perhaps I'll find out a little later. Again, I might update the review. But definitely the Boom has more features, believe it or not. It's much smaller, more elegant. It gives you more control. One more time I want to emphasize, you can redial any of your phones, any of the 2 phones connected. It will prompt you for that. You can voice command any of the 2 phones connected. Again, it will prompt you, and it works with a click of a button. And of course, if you have only one phone connected, it redials, or that's a voice command right away. Sounds better, more comfortable for me, a little bit lighter, not by much, but a little bit lighter. I don't need a hook for it, but if you need a hook, Just keep in mind again that you cannot use the hook and that inner gel that I currently have installed with the loop. But this does a decent job though. I was surprised actually. It feels better than this because you don't have the hook and have less contact points with your ear, so it bothers you less. Definitely recommending this device. I would say give it a try. If you don't like it, return it, but you're not going to be disappointed. For this price, it's unbelievable. Good job, Motorola. However, I'm disappointed from you from this device because it seems like it should have been a competitor to Voyager and Jabra Move, but in much more wider package and more elegant. I think this is 12 grams, if I'm not mistaken. And you can make it elegant, or you can make it for open it up for better performance. But not sure how and what got messed up. They messed up big time. Again, there is no redial function. You can only control one of your phones with the voice dial. And I found the sound of it worse than the boom. Again, I think it's because of the the boom has this pad that goes inside your inner channel, and that probably works better. Both have mute function, so when you press during a phone call, when you press both volume keys, it will mute, and it will actually tell you mute on, mute off, which is pretty nice. If you're not in a call, you can check the battery status by again pressing both volume buttons. Oh, and one last thing about the boom. The boom has an NFC. So another feature. Honestly, I think they made a huge mistake. This should have been a $150 device, and this should have cost $59. That's how I feel, seriously. So I hope you guys find this review helpful. Again, when I was searching some information about these devices, there's nothing I could find on the internet. So I hope it helps you. And go ahead, buy the boom. I'm sure you're gonna like it. Thank you.